country singer Toby Keith has died.
It was strictly up to her. She just was strong. I mean, the thing spins for our gravity, holds us on this big blue and green marble. It's just...
Toby Keith's passing shocked the world. But what his wife just revealed changes everything. From hidden projects to his final moments, the truth is finally coming out. What secrets did Toby leave behind? Let's uncover the untold story. Who is Toby Keith? The date of Toby Keith Koval's birth is July 8, 1961, in Clinton, Oklahoma. He grew up in Moore, a town just outside of Oklahoma City. He became interested in music early on after seeing live bands at his grandmother's dinner club in Fort Smith, Arkansas. Before he was 8, he only played music for fun. That's when he got his first guitar. Toby didn't go straight to Nashville after high school like many people who want to be country stars do. Instead, he worked in the oil fields of Oklahoma, where he quickly rose to become a manager. Still, music was his true calling, even though he worked in oil. In his spare time, he played music in bars and honky-tonks around town with his band, Easy Money. When the oil business crashed in the late 1980s, Toby was at a loss for what to do. He could either keep running after a dead sector or start making music full-time. He chose the second one. He went to Nashville with a demo tape and worked non-stop to get his songs heard. Things got better in 1993, even though the road was rough. Rise of Should Have Been a Cowboy, Toby's big break came when Mercury Records took a chance on him. His first single, Should Have Been a Cowboy, became a big hit right away. Not only was it a hit, but it was also the most played country song of the 1990s, making Toby Keith a name to remember. People all over the world liked the song's catchy melody and nostalgic Wild West themes. At a time when country music was changing, Toby stood out with his unapologetic attitude and deep voice. After Should Have Been a Cowboy did so well, Toby had a string of #1 hits that put him at the top of the charts. He was a powerful person who didn't just have one hit. He was loved by both fans and critics because he could mix modern country with honky-tonk grit. With 32 #1 hits and over 40 million albums sold, Toby left a legacy that not many artists could match. Being an American icon, and thanks to the red, white, and blue, Toby Keith became a symbol of American pride, and not just for his love songs and party songs. After the September of year 2001 attacks, he wrote a very angry piece called Courtesy of the Red, White, and Blue, the Angry American. The song became an anthem for people in the military and all patriots. Without a doubt, it was Toby Keith. He was brave, controversial, and audacious. There was more to this than just a hit song. People had mixed feelings about the song. Some saw it as a rallying cry for America, while others didn't like how forceful it was. That being said, Toby never gave up, and he stuck to his beliefs, went to see military families, and performed for troops stationed overseas. One thing was clear: Toby Keith didn't back down. Even if you agreed with him, his songs didn't just make people laugh, they also showed what he believed in. A lot more than just a country star. Toby Keith had a heart the size of his voice that went beyond his songs. His Toby Keith Foundation helped kids with cancer, and he personally paid for the OK Kids Corral, a home for kids with cancer and their families. This wasn't just a side project, it was something they loved doing. He spent millions of dollars and a lot of time to make a difference, showing that his influence was bigger than country radio. He also gave a lot to the military. Toby went on 11 USO tours and performed for troops in war zones, sometimes putting his own safety at risk to give them a taste of home. It wasn't for attention. He did it because he cared. Soldiers and veterans were like family to him, not just fans. Then there was the man himself. You wouldn't have thought Toby Keith would be the polished, media-trained star you'd expect. He wasn't afraid to be honest, funny, or himself. He liked jeans more than suits, beer over champagne, and being honest over being safe. His big personality made him a fan favorite, and his straightforward attitude kept him in check. Keith did more than just sing country music. He loved his country, told stories, helped others, and became a legend. There was more to Toby Keith's life than just the hits. He had to deal with hardships, make sacrifices, and experience things that changed him. Toby Keith kept his cancer battle hidden for months. Why did he stay silent? And what finally made him reveal the heartbreaking truth? His private war with cancer. Toby Keith got some bad news. He has stomach cancer. His plan was to fight the war out of sight from everyone for months. It was only his family and closest medical staff who knew. A man known for his strength and determination was in another battle. This time, the battlefield was his own body, not a disco or concert hall. He had surgery, radiation, chemotherapy, and other difficult treatments, but he chose not to talk about his battle yet. No one should feel sorry for him. He didn't want the people who supported him to be scared. He wanted to fight his way and on his own terms. Toby didn't want to let cancer define him. Writing, visiting, and performing kept coming up for him when he could. He still found time to be with his family, his supporters, and his military allies, even though his health was getting worse. His strength turned out to be proof of his moral character. Toby did the opposite of what many famous people do when they are sick. He stayed out of the spotlight. During interviews, people asked him about his illness, but he chose to talk about his family, his faith, and his music instead. He talked about his upcoming projects and trips, as well as his desire to be back on the road. Even when things were very hard for him, he stayed strong and never let his illness take over. After fighting privately for almost a year, Toby finally told everyone about his diagnosis in June 2022. Everyone was shocked by the news. He had been fighting stomach cancer and had been through a lot of intense treatments, as he said in his straightforward and direct post on social media. Even though things were hard, he stayed positive and said he was looking forward to spending more time with his family and, ideally, getting back on stage soon. Fans prayed, loved, and helped them in response. People who were moved by his music shared memories, tributes, and words of support on social media. A lot of people respected his decision to keep the fight a secret for so long, but once the news got out, everyone in the country music scene came together to support him. Other musicians, like Blake Shelton and Carrie Underwood, sent Toby Keith supportive notes. These notes confirmed what everyone already knew. Toby Keith was a fighter, not just another country singer. Toby may have had cancer, but he wasn't performing for us. He showed up at a number of events in Las Vegas in December 2023. Fans knew this was their last chance to see him perform live, so it was an intense and moving experience. Even though he was sick, his voice stayed clear, and he had a great presence on stage. He gave every performance his all, pouring his whole soul into the people who saw him. Amazingly, he came back again at the People's Choice Country Awards in September 2023, just a few months before. As he accepted the first Country Icon Award, he sang "Don't Let the Old Man In a moving way. The song became more important to him as he thought about his own death. The performance shocked the crowd, which was filled with tears. This event solidified his legacy and showed that Toby Keith was strong even when he knew he was going to die. It was February 4, 2024, the day before Toby died. He sent his supporters what he thought would be his last words. It was a simple Instagram post with the words, "And that's a wrap on the weekend, y'all," and a picture of him waving to the crowd at one of his last shows. Let's go back to it. At the time, most people didn't pay much attention to it. It looked like a normal post, a casual way to end things. From the past, though, it was more than that. It was time to say goodbye. He had given his family, his fans, and his music everything. This was his last bow. The night Toby Keith passed away. An important person in the world died on February 5, 2024. The late Toby Keith died peacefully in his home in Oklahoma. The bad news hit hard. The sad news his family told him when fans woke them up confirmed what many people had hoped and feared would never happen. The people who were closest to Toby during his last hours were his wife Tricia and their 3 children. The Keith family treasured every moment they spent with him in the last few weeks because they knew the time was almost up. The love and warmth of his family filled his home, making sure that he died in peace. Later, Toby's wife Tricia said that he fought hard until the end and never wanted his family to have to carry the weight of his illness. He told them that even when things were hard, he had lived a full and blessed life. His children, Shelley, Crystal, and Steelen, held his hands as he took his last breath. It was a private and very close goodbye to the man who had been their rock. Supporters all over the world held vigils with candles and played his best songs to honor his memory. Fans put up a memorial outside of his childhood home in Oklahoma and left flowers, cowboy hats, and letters written by hand. Toby Keith's music streams and album sales went through the roof after he died. Songs like Shouldn't Let the Old Man In, courtesy of the Red, White, and Blue, and Should Have Been a Cowboy were once again making it to the top of the charts. That was proof that his songs were timeless and could connect with people of all ages. His most recent songs came to mean more. Don't Let the Old Man In, which he had once said was a song about fighting old age and staying strong, felt like a goodbye note. Fans listened to it in a different way because they thought it was his way of saying goodbye. Toby's charitable work lived on after he stopped making music. In his honor, a huge amount of money was given to his Toby Keith Foundation, which helps kids with cancer. Fans and other artists who gave money made sure that his goal of helping others would live on. A few days after he died, tributes came in from strange places. Veterans told stories about their visits to the USO, where Toby played music for troops stationed abroad to cheer them on. Parents whose children had cancer told them that he had gone to hospitals to make sick kids happy. These stories painted a picture of a man who was always willing to help others. Tricia Lucas is finally revealing Toby's last moments. What did he say? And what hidden truths are now coming to light? Tricia's revelations and Toby's secret project. Big-time country star Toby Keith was more than just a famous name in music. He was also a husband, a father, and someone who really valued his privacy, especially as his health started to get worse. But after he died, it was his wife, Tricia Lucas, who spoke about the last days of Toby's life in a very personal and emotional way. While everyone was sad about the death of the man who had changed country music so much, Tricia kept a few stories close to her heart. She let her fans see the rough parts of her life that were hidden from the public. After Toby died, Tricia began to talk about the personal parts of his life, which showed who the man was behind the songs. She also talked about how he worked quietly on one last, very personal project that would be his last gift to the world. She also talked about how he stayed positive and loved life right up until the end. Toby wrote every night for a few months before he died. Even though he didn't want anyone else to know what he was working on, Tricia and a few other close friends saw him late at night writing lyrics and coming up with new melodies. He said these words as his last chance to talk to his many loyal fans who had loved him for decades. They weren't just songs. The secret project was Toby's way of leaving a lasting mark and sharing his heart in a way that would be meaningful long after he was gone. People say that these songs are very personal and show how he feels about life, love, and his ongoing battle with cancer. Toby had always been honest with his fans about his love for his country, his experiences, and his patriotism. But this project was different. These songs are only honest, raw, and real if they came from a pure place. Trisha talked about how Toby would often stay up late, play his guitar, and write quickly because he knew time was running out. During these times, his real self came out, which was very different from the public persona. As fans began to digest the news of Toby's passing, the question on everyone's mind was, what happens next? The idea of a posthumous album became more than just a rumor. It became a real possibility. Toby's final project, those secret songs, would likely be released in some form, but the mystery surrounding it only made fans more eager to hear what he had left behind. Would these songs capture the essence of the Toby Keith we all knew, patriotic, playful, and full of heart? Or would they reveal a more vulnerable side, one that no one had seen before? The anticipation surrounding the release of these songs grew every day, with fans hoping to catch a glimpse of Toby's soul in the music. What would he have to say to the world in his final moments? And how would this final album redefine his legacy? Trisha felt great emotional weight from all of it. She was by his side during his toughest battles, managing not only his health, but also their home life. Their connection ran deeper than most people could understand. It was clear that their bond was one of love, respect, and shared history. Even though Toby's health was getting worse in the months before he died, he kept writing and dreaming. Trisha was always there for him and showed how strong she was by standing by him and giving him time to finish his last project. It was the love of a lifetime, a marriage that had been through both happiness and sadness, and the wife was not just there to support her husband. Toby's last project is still making things more tense. Fans can't wait for the day they can hear the music Toby was working on, which was his last gift to the world. It gives us new hope every day that these songs will finally be released. They should show a very personal side of Toby that was similar to his trip. Will these songs live up to all of the fans' hopes? Will they carry the same emotional weight and depth that Toby's work did? With bated breath, the globe awaits to reveal itself. It is evident as the mystery develops that this project will be Toby's last legacy, and that what it contains will always be evidence of the man behind the songs. Trisha doesn't give up in the meantime, honoring Toby's memory. She is not only married to a famous national hero, but she also tells his story and can reveal the most private details of Toby's last days. She may also be the one who finally reveals Toby's full secret plan. People around the world are getting closer to Toby, his supporters, and his family as they wait for the last release. She knows how important this duty is. Toby left behind more than just songs. He left behind a picture of a man who loved his country, his fans, and his family. Even in his last hours, Toby Keith was still a leader in country music and other fields. Fans have been holding their breath for his secret project, which won't just be an album. It will be revealed soon. It will give us a look into Toby Keith's mind and connect him with all the people who have always loved him. Country music will never be the same without Toby Keith. How will his influence shape the next generation of artists? More than just a country star. Without a doubt, Toby Keith has transformed country music. He didn't just add hits, he changed the genre in ways that will be felt for years to come. The sound of his songs defined a time in country music that was raw, lively, and very American. But Toby didn't just ride the wave of country music. His songs about life, love, and being American went beyond what was expected. He broke the rules of traditional country music by combining rock influences with lyrics that spoke to his fans' feelings. Not just #1 hits, songs like Should Have Been a Cowboy and Courtesy of the Red, White, and Blue were anthems for a new era in country music. More and more new country musicians were influenced by Toby. A lot of young singers and songwriters were inspired by him to be sure of themselves and take risks with their work. Toby has had a big impact on the careers of artists like Luke Bryan, Jason Aldean, and Blake Shelton. Because Toby wanted to mix country stories with heavy rock beats, it gave musicians the freedom to try to make the genre sound more alive. Beyond the music, Toby's bravery to stand up for what he believed in, whether it was his support for the troops or his tough guy approach to the music business, showed aspiring musicians how to deal with the pressures of fame while staying true to themselves. However, Toby Keith grew into a cultural icon instead of just a country star. His patriotism was woven into many of his songs like American Soldier and Courtesy of the Red, White, and Blue, which really spoke to people, especially those who shared his pride in the country. Many people made his songs into anthems, especially during times of trouble, because they made people feel a sense of national pride and unity. It wasn't enough for Toby to just sing about America. He had to live it. He helped the military for a lot of his career, both through his music and by doing things. As part of Toby Keith's USO tour of duty, he entertained and inspired thousands of troops overseas. His public support for the military also helped make him an American working-class icon. Not just in music did Toby make a difference. Through the Toby Keith Foundation, he helped a huge number of people over the course of his life, especially veterans and sick children. The work of the foundation shows how sensitive Toby is and how much he wants to repay favors. His kindness away from the spotlight is shown by the fact that he supports causes like the OK Kids Corral, which gives underprivileged kids with cancer-free housing. Toby did what he did because he really wanted to help people in need, not because he wanted praise or glory. His legacy lives on through the foundation, which supports causes close to his heart and makes sure that his contributions go far beyond his music. Toby's personality and sense of humor were shaped by his larger-than-life personality. He wasn't just a country singer, he was also a showman who could connect with his audience on a personal level. His quick wit and sense of humor were often shown in interviews, on stage, and even on social media. He was naturally funny and could make people laugh, whether he was telling jokes or funny stories about his travels. Under the comedy, though, was a man with strong beliefs who wasn't afraid to say what he thought. His approach helped his fans see him not only as a performer, but also as someone who knew what it was like to live a full life. There is a close bond between Toby and his audience because he was a part of their lives off stage as well. People still connect with Toby Keith's music in a big way. People who have heard his music before and people who have never heard it before both love his timeless songs. You can feel what it's like to be American in Toby's songs, like the sad lyrics in I Love This Bar or the rebellious energy in American Ride. People can feel understood when they listen to his songs, and his voice can remind them of the things that are important to them. His music never goes away. It lives on. His strong songs, the people he touched, and the foundation he left behind all help to keep his memory alive. Toby has an effect on culture in more than one way, not just music. He became a symbol of honesty, freedom, and strength. People who valued his honesty saw him as a role model because he wouldn't change his mind about things and could entertain. He left a lasting mark on country music and in the hearts of his fans through both the songs he wrote and the way he lived his life. Toby Keith may have first left the world with his music, but his kindness, humor, patriotism, and huge energy are what he is remembered for. Toby's influence can still be felt even though he isn't there anymore. He shows that some stars never really go away. Instead, they shine brightly in every song, every story, and every fan who carries on his legacy. What's next for Toby's music and his family? Toby Keith's music has come back in a big way since he died. Many of his albums that were big hits when he was alive are now back on top of the charts. The sudden rise in album sales, radio plays, and streams says a lot about how much of an impact Toby still has on the country music scene. People who have liked his music for a long time have discovered how powerful it is again, and new people have discovered how timeless and emotional his songs are. The way Toby mixed humor, patriotism, and emotional stories with his audience was something that was still important today. Toby's music will definitely last, which shows how talented he was and how much of an impact he had. Toby's musical comeback not only shows how much he has changed the country genre, but it also shows how much of a cultural icon he is. People are remembering his hits, even as they dig deeper into the deeper meanings of his songs. Toby's songs are still loved by people of all ages, whether they're the more reflective ones, like American Soldier, or the more upbeat ones, like Courtesy of the Red, White, and Blue. His songs about love, loss, and patriotism are more important than ever, and his voice will still be affecting people all over the world. Toby's family is just as dedicated to honoring his memory as his music is to keeping it alive. His wife Tricia and their children are in charge of keeping Toby's memory alive through stories, memories, ongoing projects, and charitable work. In important ways, the Keith family continues to lead the way in keeping Toby's memory alive. Tricia has helped Toby's fans understand how deep their relationship is and how much love drives his career by telling personal stories about his last days. As kids, they saw their famous father get famous, and now they are helping to keep his memory alive so that Toby's values of hard work, patriotism, family, and morality stay at the heart of the family's history. Honors for Toby are already being planned, and many more will be added over the next few years. Honors like these not only honor his memory, but they also give fans new ways to remember his life and music. One of the most anticipated parts of Toby's afterlife is the chance to hear new music. Toby was famous for writing late at night and coming up with new lyrics all the time. There were rumors that some of these hidden songs might come out. If these songs get released, they will give fans one last chance to see how creatively amazing Toby was. Not only would these songs honor Toby's memory, they would also show that he was one of the most famous people in country music. Along with new music, fans can look forward to tribute concerts, events, and even documentaries that look at Toby's effect on music and culture. There is no doubt that Toby has had a lasting effect on country music. His mix of rock-inspired energy and traditional country storytelling made for a unique sound that helped shape the direction of the genre. Toby not only performed, but also inspired. Fans and the artists who have continued his work are both affected by him. Blake Shelton, Jason Aldean, and Luke Bryan are just a few of the country musicians who have said that Toby inspired their songs. They watched him show them how to push the limits of country music while still respecting their roots. As these new musicians become better known, Toby's influence can be heard in their music. Country music sounds different because of what he did, and his influence will continue to shape the genre for years to come. A lot of people still remember Toby in powerful ways. His music is still played on road trips, at events, and at parties. His songs are well known in the country music world, and his fans love him. For many, Toby wasn't just a performer. He was a friend and a voice that spoke of their own lives. Due to his down-to-earth and honest style, millions of people could relate to him, and his songs became the soundtrack to many important events in people's lives. Fans of Toby still remember how his songs made them feel and share his music. They also attend memorial events and share his music. Toby had a big effect on people outside of the stage. His fans still care a lot about his memory. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Click on the next video popping up on your screen for more amazing content.